Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. This is it. This is the final episode of Lightning Storm before the kickoff of Hasbro Pulse Con 2022 this upcoming Friday, September 30th. So today I'm going to talk about what I think we could be seeing at Hasbro Pulse Con, and also all the details of it that we finally did get officially revealed, such as the time that it's happening. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. So first up for the week, we have a brand new release for the Lightning Collection out now in the UK, and that is the, I wouldn't say anticipated, but more recently revealed Yellow Ranger Morpher. So this is one of the most recent things that got revealed during the live stream event of Power Week a couple of weeks ago, or I guess about a month ago at this point. So we knew that this was going to be out pretty soon, because even when it was revealed at Power Week, it had a release date of October 1st, I think it was, which is like only a month from now anyway. Or no, it's not. It's a week from now, so man, time is weird. But we knew that that was going to be coming out here pretty soon, but the UK, just like they have with pretty much all of the most recent roleplay stuff, have gotten it early. And of course that means we have a review out of it from Lightning Collector 2021 here on YouTube. So they got it from Comics and Cocktails in the UK, and I assume that other UK retailers are probably getting it soon, or Comics and Cocktails probably still has it. This is going to rot away on shelves, and it's going to get clearanced out just like the Pink Ranger Morpher did. At least I'm pretty sure of that. I don't think this is the most anticipated or excited or exciteful like entry in the Lightning Collection. I mean, maybe somebody out there really wants it. At this point, I have said this before when it was first revealed, and I was talking about it in my recap of Power Week's stream. Now that we have 2 of these, I would like them to do the other 4 of them, but like these are not something that I'm super excited about, and I'm going to probably wait on a sale until I get mine. But I mean, it looks exactly how it should look. It looks like the Yellow Ranger Morpher from the 1995 movie. I think the Aisha sound-alike is not too terrible. It has special voice phrases for all the coins. It comes with the Yellow Ranger Pogs and everything like that, so it's pretty much exactly what you would expect it to be from the Pink Ranger Morpher. And if you want it, it's probably going to release in the US in like a week or 2 anyway, and it's out in the UK, so it's gonna be here pretty soon. I just don't think it's worth the $55.99 price point that Hasbro wants for it, but you know, there's that. So yeah. Next up for this week, we have the first of 2 Hasbro Pulse related stories that are not PulseCon, and they're not, I mean, one of them is a good story, the other one is not that great of a story, and it might not even be affecting Power Rangers, but there's already some kind of evidence that it might actually be anyway. So basically, Preternia posted the other day on Twitter that I guess a couple of UK retailers have posted that the G.I. Joe Classified series is going to be pretty much for the most part from now on a Hasbro Pulse UK exclusive line in the UK, which is a pretty big move. I mean, the G.I. Joe Classified series line, from everything I've ever seen of it and from what I've collected of it, seems to be a very popular line that sells pretty well. I probably would have said that it probably does better than the Lightning Collection. I mean, they had a super successful HasLab, and Hasbro has never even attempted that for Power Rangers, let alone Lightning Collection. So seeing that kind of move is pretty shocking. Now that, you know, raises the question, is that going to happen for the Lightning Collection for, you know, UK fans out there? And it's possible. So if you remember back during Power Week, or actually before Power Week, in my episode that's very similar to the one today, where I talked about what I was expecting Power Week to have, I talked about how there was the one retailer, I think it was In-Demand Toys, that talked about how they were thinking of, or they were anticipating 8 pre-orders or something like that for Power Week, 4 of them being Pulse exclusives. And that kind of had a whole big theorizing of like, were there going to be store exclusives revealed during Power Week and everything, and there wasn't. So that kind of leads to the theory of some retail items being considered Pulse exclusives in the UK. Now, I know we have that problem that people have talked about in the UK as well, where Deluxe Wave 2 just like didn't go up like anywhere in the UK, even though UK Amazon is the one that leaked those pictures of them in the first place. So you'd think that at least they would have gotten that. I know people have contacted me and told me that like Wave 12 is only up for pre-order on like 2 different stores, including Pulse UK in the UK, and it definitely just seems like a lot of these stuff is not getting pre-orders up in the UK anymore, which is just really, you know, worrying. It's definitely something that's not great to hear about. But it's definitely possible that Hasbro Pulse UK is going to not only exclusively be the place to get G.I. Joe Classified, but could be exclusively the place to get Power Rangers Lightning Collection if you're in the UK going forward. and that's really, really unfortunate. So that might solve the mystery of what happened to those figures that In Demand Toys was talking about before Power Week, and there's that as well. So like, I don't know, I'll keep trying to follow this story as best I can. It's kind of a hard one to report on because I mean, I try to cover the UK stuff here because I know there's a lot of UK fans that watch my content as well, and it's very tricky to try to figure out everything going on the UK side of things while there's also all the US side of stuff to talk about and cover and everything. So I will see what happens with this, but also if any UK fans are watching, please let me know down in the comments below, like, you know, what stores start getting some stuff. If it really does start to seem that Pulse UK is the only place getting them, and even there, they might not be getting everything. Like, I don't know if, even to this point, if they still have not gotten Deluxe Wave 2 or not. I'll probably put like a graphic up to check or something like that if Snizzard and Lucas are up there yet. But yeah, hopefully that isn't true, but it's definitely seeming like it might be. And if that's the case, that's pretty rough because Pulse UK, or really Pulse in general, doesn't really put things on clearance too often, and when they do, it's not always like the greatest clearance. So like, if you're kind of forced to buy Lightning Collection at full price in the UK, I know that's going to deter a lot of people from collecting, rightfully so, and I don't want that to impact the line. And also I want the figures to be able to be available to UK fans at multiple different places. You know, it's good that Pulse UK finally does exist. It has been a thing for like a year or so at this point. But so it's nice that it does exist, and it allows you to get some of the Pulse exclusives. They still haven't given you guys like Metallic Pink or Psycho Green or any of those older ones before it launched in the UK. But hopefully things kind of work out on that so you guys can keep collecting these figures that of course you guys would want. Now, sort of connecting to that one, there's actually some Pulse news for Europe in general, and not just the UK, but mainly just Europe. So if you remember, I don't remember how many months ago this was. It was a couple of months ago. Pulse Germany launched as Pulse EU, which kind of implied that it wasn't going to just be Germany. It was probably going to expand to other countries. And just in time for Hasbro Pulse Con, which I'm sure was intentional, we do have an expansion for Hasbro Pulse EU, which is no longer just Germany. They have now expanded it to include France, Spain, Italy, and Austria. So still not like the widest reach that it possibly could be, but that does check off a couple more countries to be part of this list, which is really good. And hopefully that means you guys will be able to get the Selfie Series figures that launch next week. I have no idea if those are being carried internationally. I highly doubt that, actually. But maybe, hopefully, you know, you guys will finally get some access to different Pulse exclusives. Hopefully, since it's launching so late, they'll actually include like Metallic White and the most recent Pulse exclusives. But at least going forward, hopefully they'll offer them there. And who knows, maybe it's going to be the exclusive place for Lightning Collection to be in those countries or something. That would be very, very unfortunate. I really hope that that's not a trend that actually does hold true and continues to expand if it is true, which it seemingly is. But yeah, at least there's that. And there's also, of course, that's not just good for Power Rangers. There's other stuff on Hasbro Pulse that I know tons of people collect. So I think that would allow them to have HasLab access, I think, which is always a good thing for not only the HasLab campaigns themselves, but for collectors who want to get their hands on those really hard to get items, especially for importing and stuff like that. So hopefully that works out and they can continue to expand. I know Australia is a big one that Pulse has not hit yet, which hopefully would be like in their next expansion. That's kind of a pretty big market I'm surprised they haven't capitalized on. Of course, South America and everybody, Asia, Africa, all these other places for Hasbro Pulse to expand to. I'm hoping that they eventually do. It doesn't just keep it like Europe and the US, but in Canada and all that stuff. So hopefully there's more expansions coming to Pulse, but I think that that's only, I guess, a good sign. But then again, with the stuff on the UK, could be a little tricky, so it's like kind of these weird sides of this coin here with this Pulse news, but there's ups and downs to it, and that's that, I guess. Moving on from international Hasbro Pulse sites, we do have some releases in the US. So people have been asking me for a while, when were the other Ninjas going to release at Target? Well, apparently right now. So this past week, Ninja Red, Ninja Yellow, and the Catherine version of Ninja Pink, which were revealed during the infamous Pinata incident April 12th Fan First Tuesday, have started to actually appear in US stores earlier than their like non-existent really release date on Target's website. There like was a long time ago like a release date on there of like November. I think that's what Pulse lists them as for those shared exclusives, but we never really knew when Target was going to ship those. We didn't know if it was going to be like a first batch of Ninja ones where they get delayed a little bit and then actually come out, or if it was going to be a Century thing where it got delayed for over a year and just like barely ever released. So we never, Target exclusives, it's always really hard to tell exactly what is going to go on with that. Not only can you find them there, Target's website website did update an actual release date for these, so if you pre-ordered them, you probably got the email this past week that said, hey, we actually have a release date estimate for these pre-order items, and that is currently listed at Sunday, October 2nd, so not this weekend, but next weekend is when Target is anticipating being able to ship those out. It could even be a couple of days earlier than that, since they are already being found in stores, but that's pretty good. So if you want to complete your ninja team, I'm definitely excited to complete the ninja team. I guess I'm excited to get Catherine, even though I really don't need another ninja pink, but I'm very excited to get Rocky and Aisha there to complete that set. I think especially this wave has had infinitely better QC problems, or not problems, but infinitely better QC in general than the first wave, which is the worst QC Lightning Collection has ever had by a long shot. So I've never really seen any problems with these ones in the UK, and I haven't seen anybody report any problems with them finding them in Targets, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to be including the Popfindr link for these in the description below if you do want to check your Target. If they show that they're in stock, they could just be in the back, so if you do ask an employee to help you out, just be respectful with it, that way they can actually help you or be more willing to help you. Or you can just wait for a week and they'll probably start shipping out from Target's website, because that's what I'm going to do. But I'm excited that they are finally releasing here, and I think that would have everything from that Fan First event released in the US except for Dragonzord, which hasn't been released anywhere yet. So I think that catches us up on that, if I'm remembering that correctly. So yeah, so that's the end of that April 12th event, as we now move into the stuff that got revealed over the summer, and we're slowly catching up to reveals and pre-orders and stuff like that, but obviously Pulse Con's going to change that and add more stuff into the reveal or to the pre-order lineup of stuff. So speaking of Pulse Con, let's go ahead and talk about it for the rest of this video. Alright, so Hasbro Pulse Con is less than a week away, and I'm pretty excited for it, legitimately. I'm also a little worried because Pulse Con was pretty solid-ish last year. I always flip-flop in terms of my opinion on how it turned out, because the NFT thing at the end really soured that event for me for the entirety of this last year that it's been since then. But it hasn't even been a year, because PulseCon's happening in a month earlier than it did last year. So PulseCon happened in October of 2021 last time, and now it's happening in September, or very late September, early October 2022. So one of the biggest things was we knew that the Power Rangers panel was taking place on day one. We knew it was happening on Friday, September 30th, but we didn't know what time it was happening. And we finally do. So finally they've revealed the schedule for Hasbro Pulse Con, and the Power Rangers panel is scheduled, and obviously the times can be a little weird because sometimes these panels go over that they're supposed to. Like last year, I think we went over the time limit that Hasbro had set aside for it. But basically, if they follow it roughly, Power Rangers should be taking place at 2:15 Eastern Time this Friday, September 30th, and they are slotting out 45 minutes for the Power Rangers panel to take place. Now, that is interesting because it's not going to be 45 minutes of product reveals, because there's actually a lot of stuff that they have to cover in those 45 minutes, because that's 45 minutes for product reveals with Pam and Jordan, that is 45 minutes for comic information with Melissa Flores and Ryan Parrott, and it's 45 minutes to also cram in Black Nerd talking to the Dino Fury cast / Cosmic Fury cast, which I'm sure they're going to probably have to say something. I don't know what they're going to say about Cosmic Fury or what they're going to be allowed to say. If you saw yesterday, I posted a video about the finale of Dino Fury, which aired internationally, and so we have some spoilers for that that could be leading into Cosmic Fury. It's going to be very tricky because the back half of Dino Fury Season 2 is going to be dropping on Netflix the day before PulseCon, so technically they could talk about the finale because it wouldn't be spoilers anymore, but I don't know how many, I don't know if they're banking on the fact that people will have watched the entire back half in 24 hours. I mean, some people obviously will. Some people already have watched it with the international airings. So I'm not sure if they're going to be trying to keep it somewhat spoiler-free, spoiler-light, kind of just focusing on basics of Cosmic Fury that they can talk about. I do believe that, I think Hunter posted on her Instagram that they are flying out to start filming Cosmic Fury on October 1st. So I'm assuming this is probably going to be some sort of pre-recorded thing, unless they're really going live to talk with Andre a day before they fly out to go film, which would be pretty crazy. But back to the Lightning Collection stuff and PulseCon, toy reveals. 45-minute window is not a crazily long window, but it doesn't have to be. We've seen streams before that have been infinitely shorter than 45 minutes, in a good way. We've seen it in a bad way with the April 12th Fan First Tuesday. And I think we saw it in a pretty good way with the Power Week fan stream that we had about a month ago. That one was 50 minutes long, and the product reveals only took about 20 minutes of that before we talked about Street Fighter for like 10 minutes, and then the comics for like 10 minutes, something like that, and then like other franchise third-party stuff for like 5 to 10 minutes or so. So it was really only like 20-ish minutes of product reveals. So if they kind of spend about a little bit more than half maybe of this, I don't know what they're going to talk about comics. Maybe just kind of hype up a little bit of Melissa Flores' new run following issue 100, which comes out 2 days before Pulse Con. There is a lot of stuff coming out for Power Rangers like right before Pulse Con, so it does make sense to talk about show stuff and comic stuff. So the toys might, I mean, they're definitely going to be a main focus, of course. Now, when it comes to what I'm expecting at PulseCon, Wave 13 is definitely going to be the wave that they finish at PulseCon. I feel like it's almost a 100% guarantee, in my opinion, that they are going to reveal the back half of Wave 13 on Friday, which is going to be the Wild Force Putrid and Dino Fury Green. And with that, I imagine that they're also going to probably put Wave 13 up for pre-order on Friday. That just makes the most logical sense to me, because there's obviously going to have to be some pre-orders going live on the Friday. But I do anticipate pre-orders and also reveals being for the back half of Wave 13, and 2 more Street Fighter figures, which I think maybe are the final 2. I still, honestly, do not know what the other 2 are, so it would just kind of make sense if PulseCon is kind of just like, you know, kind of closing those open doors, kind of those, you know, loose threads from hanging from Power Week. So Wave 13, Street Fighter. Hey, it's Ed and Josh here, and I'm just kind of putting this part in here because the next thing I was going to talk about was how I thought the next Zap entry was going to be shown at PulseCon, and now the pictures of Astro Megazord leaked last night, so I'd say maybe we would see that there. It's probably a pretty safe bet, but yeah, I recorded this part before that happened, so here is that. People keep asking me about that Tango 2 pack that I've been talking about a couple of times, and that thing is just like completely missing in action. I have no idea what happened to that thing. Maybe they'll show off that. Who knows? But I think PulseCon definitely has, you know, the potential, if they keep up the same kind of energy and presentation and, you know, focusing on the products and not so much on all the goofiness that they brought during Power Week. If we have that kind of energy and focus brought to PulseCon, I think we'd have a pretty good year. And if they don't announce any NFTs, that would also be very great as well. I'm really hoping that they don't ruin it like they did last year with that. Please don't ruin it. And of course, I'm very excited to see what they have to say on the Dino Fury Cosmic Fury side of things as well, because that's what everybody really wants to know about this year. Of course, I'm still in it mainly for Lightning Collection, but I know that probably most people are more excited to see what they have to say about 2023 in general. And with that, that's everything we have to talk about for this week on Lightning Storm. Of course, until next time, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below about everything that I talked about this week. What are you personally expecting to see at Hasbro Pulse Con this Friday? And of course, as I'm sure you already expected, and maybe you've already seen on the channel, there's already a live stream reaction stream set up to go with me and a couple of my friends, you know, a whole panel of friends reacting to it like I do every time. That will be happening at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Friday, so 15 minutes before the Power Ranger stream starts, just so we can kind of get situated, kind of talk for a second, and also in case the schedule's running a little weird, if it could start a little earlier than 2:15, it could be a little later than 2:15, but you know, just kind of picking that time in the ballpark to kind of be ready to go. So I can't wait to react to PulseCon live, can't wait to read what you guys have to say about PulseCon and anything else in the comments below, and of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveRangerKey or at LightningFigPR, and I'll see you all in Lightning Storm. This is your Lightning, always strikes twice.